Shalom, 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 shalom. Giving all the praise and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, to all the men on down who laboring in this faith, spirit and truth, to make their bodies a living sacrifice, to go out to teach this truth, you know, to receive salvation at the second coming of Yahweh Shai. Okay? Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father, which means He is to be, He exists. Okay? And the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. The true name of the only begotten Son is Yahweh Shai, which means in the Paleo Hebrew, Yah, He, Yahweh Shai, the deliverer. He saves, He delivers. Because that's one of the titles, that's what He's going to do at His second coming, is to come back to gather the elect, that are scattered and engulfed into all nations, which we've been scattered, as a curse and a reproach. Okay, but that's not the end. We are the real, true Hebrew biblical patriarch of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We are the Israelites. Okay, not those, tiny hats that are over in our land. Okay, the Negro, the Latino, and Native Americans are the chosen people of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, and the nature of this lesson, is, Eve called the police to have us removed off the highways and the hedges. Okay? If you don't know, the Israelite woman is totally liberated from the Israelite man. Okay? The ultimate betrayal. Okay? The women, the Israelite woman, do not belong to the Israelite man. Okay? And you have to know that, because, what was happening, we're here in Atlanta, Georgia, and we teach, at a spot every week. It was public property. And the so-called black woman, that tribe, from the tribe of Judah, which we tell you to stay away from the Judite woman. She's very dangerous. She don't belong to the Israelite man right now. She belong to Esau Edom. Okay? She called the cops to have us removed, and we teach that every week on public property. Okay? And also, just to throw that out there, when you encounter the police as an Israelite man, you have to know how to handle yourself, behave yourself, and be cordial, be peaceful, and speak, as non-threatening, man. Because the Lord told us to, move as, He say, be harmless as a dove. I can grab this so I don't butcher it. They say, Matthew 10:16, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. And right now we're in the midst of our enemies. Okay, name a nation of people that don't hate us right now. We're in the land of our captivity. Okay, and Esau Edom is the arch enemy of Israel, the number one enemy, and he's in the rulership right now. We're in the land that's controlled by Esau Edom. Okay, and we're sheep. We don't, we don't have a military. We don't have a air force. We don't have a police force. We don't have these defenses. Set up. Esau set up these, garrisons and militaries and military navies and air forces. He got, a lot of, servants and foot soldiers, man. And right now, the nation of Israel, we're basically We don't have anything right now, as a nation. We're slaves to the international banking families. Okay, so the elect doesn't have the mind of a 2/3 nigga to go out there and just, shoot his way out of a situation. Um, the elect don't have the mindset to act like a nigga, man. This truth, change the way we talk, the way we behave ourselves, and totally our spirit. We've been washed with the word, and it totally liberated us from this world. Scripture say, "Come out of her, my people." That's going to be a physical act, but spiritually, you have to come out of this place. Okay, because Esau raised niggas. Okay, Esau created the nigga and the nigga woman. Those two got to be put down. So when you encounter the police, you got to know how to handle yourself as a man. Behave yourself. Talk cordial. Okay. The Lord said He will make an enemy to be at peace with thee. Okay. So this wisdom and knowledge give us, the understanding of how to act as an Israelite man. It's a difference between an Israelite man and a nigga. An Israelite man, has been rooted in the scriptures. Okay. And a nigga act like a wild beast. So when you encounter the police, you can't act like a wild beast. Okay. It say Matthew 10:16, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves." Okay. Who the wolves? The other, the enemy, Esau Edom. Say, "Be ye therefore wise as serpents." Okay. And if you study the nature of a serpent, it doesn't attack on sight. It moves with cunning behavior. Okay. And that's how we have to be. Be wise as a serpent. Now, we're not serpent, but it say be wise as a serpent. Okay. Meaning in your behavior, in your thinking, in your, use wisdom. And harmless as a dove. Okay. Why? Because on the earth, Esau Edom have the power. And that's why, and you think the Israelite woman don't know that? She knows that. The Israelite woman knows who has the power. Okay, because women are driven to power. And right now, our women, the Israelite woman, is totally liberated from us. How? Because Esau Edom, the so-called white man, he takes care of them. Okay, so stay away from the Israelite woman, especially the Judite woman. Okay, she had the police called on this, and we had an encounter. Okay, but when the police approached us on site, it was a peaceful dialogue. It wasn't, no tension. Even though Eve created tension. Okay, Eve is the author of confusion. Okay, Eve is all about confusion. Okay, and if you see how the Israelite woman move nowadays, particularly the Judite woman, she moved without a care. Okay, and you got to know that she does not like the Israelite man. Okay, and whatever she can do to try to bring him down and stop him, that will she do. That will she do. She will do that. Okay, and you can see it through the systematic oppression that Esau gives power to the Israelite woman to be able to oppress the Israelite man. Okay, and you look at the system. Look at child support. Okay, when the man go to court for child support about children that belongs to him. How about that? The children belongs to the man. Okay, the seed is carried by the man. The man carries the X and Y chromosome. Okay, that what is it? Let me see that. The placenta belongs to the man. Okay. Let me look this up. Real, give me a second. Let me look this up. See that video pop up. Now listen
Did
to
you
this.
know? Many people think the placenta grows from the mother's body, but the truth is the opposite. The placenta's genes actually come from the father. Sounds surprising, right? Even though
You see that? The placenta belongs to the father that is inserted inside the woman through the man, okay? And it used to be able to feed the child, to grow that child, which means what? The DNA of that child belongs to the father, okay? Let me play that again.
Many people think the placenta grows from the mother's body, but the truth is the opposite. The placenta's genes actually come from the father. Sounds surprising, right? Even though the placenta develops inside the mother, it actually belongs to the baby. It's the baby's own organ. The father's genes determine how the placenta forms.
The father's genes determine how the placenta forms. So, when these women take you to court about the kid, the so-called white man, give power and authority to the woman over the child. And in most cases, when you deal with the police, when you deal with the court system and who's in position of power, Esau, Edom, they don't even want to talk to the man. They don't even want to talk to the man. They want to deal with the Israelite woman. And the Israelite woman, what she do? She's full of lies and deceit. Okay, and they both, Esau, Edom, and the so-called black woman, they work together against the man. Okay, you got to know that these things are critical to know. Why? Because you got to know how to move in this world. You can't. Okay, we tell you our elders, starting with Apostle Tahar and the men on down, they tell you to stay away from the so-called black woman. Okay, precept Micah 7:10. Then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her which said unto me, where is the Lord thy power? My eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire in the streets. Woo. Okay? So the so-called black woman is your enemy, okay? And it goes all the way back into the beginning of time where she betrayed the man. You look at Adam and Eve, you look at David, King David. When you look at Samson, the Danite, okay? You'll see betrayal, okay? And you got to know that, you got to know how to deal. If you do have a woman, you got to know that in your mind, if the Lord didn't give you that woman, at any time that woman can turn her back, man. You know what I'm saying? That woman can turn her back and should do something against you because the spirit of that woman is to betray the man. Read that again, Micah 7:10. She that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where's the Lord thy power? Okay, and these women gonna literally say that, man, when they get stomped out by these soldiers in the streets, these UN soldiers. You're gonna have a gang of men attacking women, okay? Rape, gang rape. You're gonna have gang rapes taking place right here in Babylon. A gang of guys raping on one woman. It's already starting to happen, man. In certain shit, you hear certain stories about men, on the expressway, the traffic is held up, and the man, raped a pregnant woman, man. Cause these niggas are Looney Tunes. They on the loose. There's spirits out here that's creative avengers, man. The majority of these jakes around here in Babylon, they don't have the spirit of the Lord on them. And these are the type of men that's going to encounter these women, man. The Israelite woman, you're going to get with, the so-called black woman and the rest of you tribes, man. You're going to get what you deserve. You're going to get what's coming to you, man. So you got to know that you know, the so-called black woman is your enemy, man. You know, there's gonna come a time which she don't see it because she's totally void of wisdom. The scriptures say that. What is that? Job 39 and 17. Job 39 and verse 17. Because the Most High have deprived her of wisdom. Okay, neither have he imparted to her understanding. Okay, you can look at the Israelite woman in 2026. Okay, they're unmarriageable, unteachable, unpleasant to deal with. Okay, they're for recreational use or recreational purposes only. And we tell you to stay away from that, man. Get your rocks off. You either go to one of them other tribes or get you a damn heathen woman, man. You got clown niggas talking about we can't deal with the heathen woman when they are concubines. Okay, they're more pleasant to deal with because when you deal with the other nations of women, guess what? They've been trained how to deal with a man. The women of our nation, you can't pair bond with them. You can't even have a decent conversation with them because she's been totally deprived of wisdom, and she's been, I hate encountering them, man. It's like on sight, man. You just, you just hear a bunch of madness, man. They make you just say, hey, how you doing, and get the fuck on, man. Don't deal with her, man. Don't deal with her, because she have no wisdom. She's just a vessel for destruction at the moment. What is the Israelite woman doing right now? She's using her liberty to get what she wants, to live out her pleasures, and to go around and sleep who she want to sleep with, okay? And cause hell. That's what they're doing, in confusion. Most of these workplaces that you see, you can't even get service handled because the Israelite woman is in the way. In the food places, which you shouldn't be eating out of the restaurant, you got, they attitudes, man. You got to deal with their attitudes, which I don't deal with it at all. I just miss that shit immediately. Okay? So that woman who called the police, guess what? You got it coming. You can't call your police on the men of the Lord that's doing his work and think everything gonna be okay after that. It don't work like that. Okay? And what she don't realize is it's gonna come a time, right? Let's just imagine all these, years we've been over here in America. She's been calling hell, keeping the man from his child, okay? Taking away his rights to see his child, okay? Just usurping authority over the man. You know what I'm saying? Using her liberty to be a hoe. I've been watching this as a young man. Just watching how the woman moved through the streets. The majority of our women are underdressed. Now, if you're a woman in this truth and you in place, this don't apply to you. This don't apply to you. It applies to the majority of our women. They're going to receive judgment. They're going to receive death on this side. And it's not going to be a quick death. It's going to be a brutal, slow death. We're telling it to you straight, man. Got no reason to hide it. We're telling it to you straight. The average woman in America is going to receive a brutal judgment. Wild beasts running through the streets. Because what you got to realize is when you separated from your man, especially if you're a man of the Lord, this for you, the man of the Lord. A lot of the women that separated from you, she left her covering, man. So she's subject to all the elements, all, the wild beasts, the wild jakes, the heathen men. It's gonna be a big civil war over here, man. It's gonna be a race war. And guess what? She gonna get caught up in the midst of that. She don't see it coming. Okay, because the Lord didn't give her the wisdom to see that. Okay? The Lord didn't give her the wisdom to see that, man. She think that the way she living now is going to be forever. And these women are totally liberated, man. Because Esau elevated them to where they at today, and it's really they think they in power. They think they have true power. That power was given to them by Esau Edom. And it's not even a real power. It was a power to destroy them, destroy themselves. And now you see the spirit of Esau. He's like, now, hey, we don't give you on your own out there, bitch. He don't turn his back on her. You on your own. Now you don't have your man. Your children you don't have a covering. The children don't have a covering. Y'all just out there. Now it's free pick. Now we can attack them. Because she don't see a race war coming. That's exactly what Esau wanted. He wanted the man totally liberated and incarcerated. Okay? And now her ass is she ain't got no military. She ain't got no men that's going to stand up and defend her. And that's exactly what Esau Edom wanted. You know? Because what she don't know, Esau is likened unto a cunning serpent. He lay traps. And once he see you in that trap, he lay an ambush against your ass, man. And that's exactly what's going to happen. And how he's going to start by stripping you of everything that he supplies you with. The alimony, the EBT, okay, the education. You're about to be totally rent from everything that was given to you by the serpent. The serpent laid a snare, okay, and you didn't see it coming. Okay, Isaiah 32. I'm going to start at 1 and skip down. Isaiah 32 and 1. Behold, the king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. The king is King David. Okay, you're going to have Israelites, which we are the prince. Yasharallah, he prince power. We're the prince of the power. We're going to rule in judgment. A man shall be as an hiding place from the wind. A man shall be as a hiding place. Okay? A man is talking about who? The elect man is going to be as a hiding place. Where do we hide? In this truth. Okay? In Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. From the wind. The wind represents destruction. And what's going to happen in Babylon? Total destruction. Okay? And a covert. Okay? A covering. Okay? From the storm, from the destruction. Okay? Because destruction is about to hit this place. And the only one that's going to be saved is the elect man of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Okay? As rivers of water in a dry place. Okay? Dry place is what? America. Okay? A man is going to be like a river of water. A man is going to be like a covert from the tempest, a storm. These women are going to literally run to men for safety. But guess what? The Lord is going to, what they don't know is the Lord is going to hide his men. And you're going to have packs of women out here looking for men, getting mauled to death, getting raped to death. Yeah, I'm going to say it the worst I can because that's what's going to happen. Getting raped to death, mauled to death, stomped on, martyred, slain. Okay? It say, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. Okay, now let's roll down. Verse 9, rise up, ye women that are at ease. And if you can see, the Israelite woman, so-called black woman, she at ease. Because Esau supply her with everything she needs. She's straight right now. But now, very soon, I don't even want to say the near future, very soon. Because why? We could be months away from the MOTB. Okay? And when the MOTB is implemented, things are going to speed up fast. She don't see that. She don't care. See, when you call the police on the men of your nation, you making it worse on yourself. We're out there to let the Israelites know that this gospel is for you. And this gospel is basically, can save your soul. Okay? And they don't realize that. They don't realize that at all. Okay? Because why? They're careless. It say, ye careless daughters. And they move without a care in the world. They flaunt their bodies. You know, the average Israelite woman got their ass out. Okay, and they very loud. You know, very loud. You know, very loud, man. They just, speak. I want to get the scripture. I think it's in Proverbs. Proverbs 9:13. That's the Israelite woman, the so-called black woman in particular. You know, you got the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans, the Puerto Ricans. They follow after the black woman, the so-called black woman. And they say a foolish woman is clamorous. A foolish woman is clamorous, right? She is simple, okay? And know of nothing. Come on, man. That's the Israelite woman today, okay? And a woman who's clamorous, she's loud, she's raging, moaning, murmuring. She murmurs, she growls. You can hear her before you see her. And we tired of the black woman. We tired of the so-called black woman's mouth. We sick and tired of her. She's full of trouble. She's full of envy. She's full of rage. Okay? A foolish woman is clamorous, loud. She is simple and know of nothing. And these women, they run their damn mouth and they don't know a goddamn thing, man. Isaiah 32:9, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Okay? You see that? Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Okay? You women are totally at ease because the system made you at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Right? Check it out. Many days and years shall ye be troubled. You see that? Many days and years shall ye be troubled. Okay? For the vintage, okay, for the vintage shall fail. All right? You see that? For the vintage shall fail. And it goes into your fruits and your crops and your vegetation. But that's a metaphor for what they receiving today. You see that? All the benefits that they receiving from the system. The gathering shall not come, okay? All right? Tremble ye women that are at ease. Be troubled. You see that? Be troubled. Because trouble is coming to your doorstep, man. A lot of you women going to get evicted. A lot of you women going to be, you're going to lose your jobs. You're going to lose it all, man. You're going to be stripped of everything that you have. Okay, and it's going to be on purpose because you're going to find out that the one that you care for the most, because you women got the liberty to call the police, because they were, hey, you got 911 at your fingertips. Okay, let me tell you something. They're going to script their police force as well. Okay, they don't have enough officers. Okay, and guess what? When the trouble hit, those police officers, they're going to want to protect their family. Okay? So you Israelite women going to be out here bare ass, man. No protection, no man, no food, no job. Okay? You're going to have robots on your ass. You're going to have wild beasts on your ass. You're going to have wild men that's been released from prison and men who haven't had their pound of flesh. They're going to get you. Okay? And the only man that's going to be available is the elect man, which you're not going to be able to see him. Okay? And if you do run into him, it's his choice whether he want to, protect you and deal with you. Let me tell you something, man. The covering of your Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is upon the elect man, and you're not going to have access to that. It says, and make you bear and gird sackcloth, mourning, right? There's going to be mourning, a lot of wailing, lamentation. They say gird sackcloth, because that's a ritual we did when we mourn. We lost somebody, a loved one. We would, tear our garments and put, gird ourselves with sackcloth and cast dust upon our head. That represent a sign of mourning. And gird sackcloth upon your loin, they shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. Okay? See that? For the teats is shad, or shadah, which is shad, and it goes into the breast, the bosom. Okay, all the reparations, all the benefits you was getting, that you was, that's going to go away. And by the way, to the so-called black woman, your true identity is going to be revealed. Your true image, the way you look, because guess what? You got the beauty supply stores, you got the makeup, the wig, the eyelashes, all these different things that you have, okay, that you can hide how you really look. And that's going to go away because the scriptures say what? The beauty of women was changed. In the time of trouble, the beauty, you ain't going to have access to all that. Okay, you're not going to have access to the beauty products. You're not going to have access to the things that freshen a woman hygiene. The hygiene is going to be horrible because a lot of you sleep with, 3 or 4 to 10 men a week, well over a body count of 100. Okay, all right, you stink, your pH balance is off. Okay, all of that is going to be revealed when there's no soap and water. Okay, when there's no fresh, products, which really the average modern day woman don't really understand how to freshen up her body with, oils and myrrh and aloe and all kind of natural products that would bring the freshness out of their pores. They don't know that. They use the products that Esau Edom give them, and it makes them worse. They stink even worse. Okay, so just imagine when ain't no water and food and famine. You women gonna be terrible. You're not gonna have access to an Israelite man, which is on a totally high vibration. And the majority of you women, you're off. Okay? This ain't for the Israelite woman who's in order. We telling the Israelite woman that knows that she Israel, that learned from great millstone, is you better stay your ass in order, man. This don't apply to you. Just stay in order. Do what you're supposed to do, and sit back and wait to be delivered. And watch what's going to happen to the 2/3 women, man. Watch what's going to happen to them. That's going to change the game, man. When Jeremiah 30, let's grab that. Jeremiah 30:7. Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, but that day is great. What? It's Jacob's trouble. Okay, Jacob's trouble is going to be when Esau Edom hunt for Jacob, man. It's going to be a time where Esau Edom hunt for Jacob. And he's going to institute his MOTB, this his C-hip, It's gonna be bad. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Who? The elect man. Okay, that's why we tell you, you're not gonna have an elect. You women are not gonna have access to an elect man in that time. All right. Revelations 12 and 12, right? Therefore, rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Okay, now we the ones that dwell in the heavens right now. We the inhabitants of the earth right now. Say for the devil, who is the devil? Esau, Edom. Okay? Esau, Edom is the devil. But the devil has come down unto you, who the Israelites, having great wrath. Okay, why? Because he know he's trying to stop the kingdom of heaven from coming into power by instituting his MOTB, his plan. It's a counter attack against Israel. Okay? Because the blessings were made from the beginning of time. And he knows that, and he want to stop that. This devil coming down with great wrath because he what? He know if he have but a short time left. The scriptures say what? The triumphant of the wicked is short. So what do you Israelite women, you've been so hard pressed against the man. You've been so, making your face hard against the Israelite man. What are you going to do in that time? You know? When you look down to verse 13, that's talking about Israel and Yahushua. It say, and when the dragon saw, who is the dragon? Esau, Edom. Okay? The Roman Empire, but Esau, Edom is the CEO of the Roman Empire, which America is Roman Empire reincarnated. It say when the dragon, that's Esau, saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman. The woman is Israel, which brought forth the man-child. That's Yahushua. Okay, when you read on down, that's going into a little history, how we fled into Africa. And it said, the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle that she might fly into the wilderness, You see that? The wilderness. Where's the wilderness? See, through the precepts we get understanding. You think that she know that? No, she don't. Verse 14, right? It say, and the woman was given 2 wings of an eagle that she might fly into the wilderness. Okay? Okay? The wilderness into her place where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. I'm going to read that again. Revelations 12 and 14. And a woman, which is Israel, was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, when they fled Jerusalem, 70 AD, into her place where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. And the serpent is Esau, Edom. The scriptures is coded, man. And only the prophets can be able to decode them, man. That was a prophet when we fled 70 AD into the wilderness, into Africa, North and West Africa. And we were scattered all over, we were scattered all over. And then what? From there, we went into captivity under Esau, and we came to America, and the Hamites and the Israelites, they helped sell us to Esau, Edom, You see that? All right, 15. And the serpent came, and the serpent cast out of his mouth waters as a flood after the woman. That's going into what? The Roman military. That he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. You see that? It's talking about the Romans. You know? And the earth helped the woman. And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon, that's going at what? Let me read that again. 16. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out. That's going into when we fled from the Roman persecution. And that's how we got down. Now, you had a lot of Israelites die back in Israel, you know, from famine and being trapped in, you know. But you had a lot of Israelites that we fled down to Egypt into North and West Africa. And then from there, we scattered all over to Africa. We fled into Europe. You know, that's where you get the Moors. You got to do the history of the Moors to even know that the Moors were Israelites. Okay? And it said what? Verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, who? Esau Edom, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, you know, which kept the commandments of the Most High and held the testimony of Yahweh Shai. I'm going to read that again. Verse 17, and the dragon was wroth with the woman. See that? Just like right now today, the dragon is wroth with the woman, Israel. They're accusing Israel of everything. You know, they saying that the country was messed up because look what happened during COVID. They started blaming Jake for the widespread of the C-19. You know, so this gonna happen again. What are you women gonna do when the dragon, you know, Esau Edom come down? You gonna be defenseless, man. Okay, and the only one that are gonna be protected is the elect. Okay, Esau is that serpent, man. Isaiah, and guess what? They made a patent together, Esau Edom and the so-called black woman, to take down the Israelite man. Well, guess what? Esau Edom gonna renege on that pact he made with you, and you seeing that happen now. You see that? He's gonna take you down, man, because you trusted in wickedness. You made a pact with the wicked. Okay. All right. This chapter going into the Israel, the Lord, the beginning of it, the Lord have mercy on Jacob, but they also go into the destruction of the wicked. Okay. Isaiah 14. It say, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined with them. You see that? For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. That's the Negro, the Latinos, and the Native American Indians. And will yet choose Israel. And there's many scriptures. Shows you that the Lord didn't choose these devils. He chose the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, because what they teach in these churches is that what? Everybody's chosen. There is no chosen people. Anybody can be a part of the chosen, a part of the 144,000. And that's totally off. The Most High only love his people. And I'm going to do a lesson on that. Okay? And set them in their own land. What's our land? Israel. Not all Israelites is going to be able to get to the land on this side. The elect was going to leave what? The majority of you Israelites. You're going to die right here in America. The strangers is referring to who? The strangers is referring to Israel. The Israelite foreigners. You know? When you look at that word strangers in the Hebrew, it's gar, or gara. Okay? And outline biblical use, sojourner, you know, a temporary inhabitant, a newcomer lacking inheriting rights. That's Israel. Look at this definition too. Okay? Of foreigners in Israel, though conceded rights. You see that? Of foreigners in Israel. Of foreigners in Israel. Okay? You know, you had Israelites who were scattered into every nation, and they would come in past time to give their offerings and keep the holy days. This is the so-called Negro, the Latinos and the Native American, the man that you women hate the most is the one that the Lord chose. So that goes to show you that our women are on the low level, man. They look at our men, they don't see any value in the Israelite man. But guess what? They don't know this truth. Now look at the NLT. But the Lord will have mercy on the descendants of Jacob, and he would choose Israel as his special people once again. Yeah, because we're his chosen people. But we were cast away. The Lord rend us from our heritage. Okay, so we're in the land of our enemies, right? So it don't look like we the Lord's people. But what the Israelite woman don't know is the Lord put his spirit on the elect man. There's a great awakening happening. And the elect men, right, will receive the divine wisdom to come back to his true power, which is Yahweh and his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai. And there's no man that you can find in this present world that's higher than that man. The elect men is high level men. You know, they're going to be ruling underneath the Messiah. You know? And you think the Israelite woman don't give a damn about that. But guess what? Wait till the kingdom comes. You're going to serve us. And you're going to love it. You're going to be in your rightful place. But right now, she's calling the police on us. She's hiding the kids from us. Doing all manner of evil against us. Telling all kind. These women call the police and just tell a lie to have you removed from your home. Okay? They go to court and just cry and just tell lies. So the court will rule in their favor. That shit gonna come to an end, man. That's gonna come to an end. Isaiah 14:2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressor. Okay? And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. That's going into Israel, the scattered Israelites. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. Okay? That part of the prophecy is going into Israelites will put the heathens in the hardcore slavery for 1,000 years, man. For all the evil, man, that they done. to the Lord's people, man. You better read the Joel, the third chapter. The Lord is punishing the heathens. What he doing is gathering their judgment right now, bringing them down into the valley. Yehoshaphat, man. All for the Lord's elect. Okay? All for the Lord's elect. So we can get the hell out of here. We need to get the hell out of here, man. Okay? Because you can't enjoy your women. You can't enjoy food. You can't really enjoy nothing. This ain't the time for enjoyment. We in a bad times right now. What does evil mean? Bad times. Rayam. That's what's coming. When them bad times come, you women gonna need to be defended. You're gonna need deliverance. But the majority of you won't get it. You know? The majority of you won't get it. You know? They don't see what's coming, man. One major what word am I looking for? I just say attack in America. You know, like 9/11. Okay? They're going to bring destruction upon this place, man. That can cause what? Riots. And that's going to lead to what? Martial law. It's going to lead to martial law. And guess what? It can be on and popping from there. Things are going to just start speeding up. Okay? Well, all right. 2nd Ezra 15 to 17. Check this out. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, and the 14th verse. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draw nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand. And that's on all levels. That's going to happen in Babylon on all levels. Whether it's race, silver, gender, it's going to be a bloody battle here in America. And who's going to feel it the most? You women, you Israelite women, especially you Israelite women. You see the energy that's today. There's no communication. There's no proper communication between the Israelite man and the Israelite woman. So we ain't just going to snap into trying to defend your ass. All this time you pranced around and say you didn't need a man. You can save yourself. You know, I got a job, I got a car, I got all these, a crib. I don't need what I need with a man. We watched you even before the internet came. The internet just magnified. It exposed you. The internet just exposed you. But before internet, we saw that energy, man. But when the Lord caused the internet to boom, it exposed Esau mainly. Really all of the wicked. It really exposed everybody. The internet exposed the prophets as doing the work of the Lord. And right? And the book being opened before the firmament to where it woke up the elect through what? The prophets preaching. The prophets of Babylon and all over, different nations. And it brought forth, it exposed the wickedness of Esau, Edom, and the women. The two main characters that's being exposed right now for wickedness is Esau, Edom, and the so-called black woman. And we say black woman because she's black, the black queen. Okay? Those are two nasty titles, man, that fits you. The black queen. That's a nasty title, man. To call yourself a black queen. You don't even understand the energy behind what you're saying. And you damn sure is a black queen. Okay? But we're going to see who's going to come to your aid, because a queen needs a king for help. Okay? But guess what? A real king, is an Israelite man. We are princes. Yasha Allah, he Prince Power. We are sons of the living power. We were called the sons of God in ancient times. Before we became Israelites, we were called the sons of God. The only men on the planet that was called the sons of God that came out of Abraham and Isaac, but later on, they came out of Adam, all the way from Adam. And called the Hebrews through, during the time of Abraham. The sons of God through Isaac, Abraham and Isaac. And then later on, we became Israelites through Jacob, which Jacob's name was changed to Israel. In the Hebrew, that's Yasher Allah, which means he Prince Power. That's the so-called black man on the earth. The Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, the most looked upon, the most down looked upon, man. Mainly by the number one enemy, which is the so-called black woman. So when these plays pop off, men of the Lord is gonna shine, and they're gonna wax worse. They're gonna get destroyed. It says 16, 2 Ezra 15 and 16. But there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Okay, and that's going to go into chaos in the cities. Okay, the people ain't gonna consider the kings, the princes, Donald Trump, King John Woo. All right, there's gonna be seditions, which is happening now, and eventually it's gonna get physical. Verse 17: a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. That's a sign of prophecy right there. A man shall desire, meaning he gonna want to go into a city, but won't be able. Okay, let me grab something. Mm, 15 to 17. They say no results. That's crazy. Mm, it's not coming up. Let me see. Yeah, it say the same thing. For a person with desire to go into a city and shall not be able to say the same thing in the NIV. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And they're going into what? Martial law. The air travel is going to be disturbed. The train, bus, all right? Because right now you got what they call American Airlines. You got what is it? American Airlines. You got Delta. You got all these different traveling services where you can travel in from one city to the next in planes. Okay, and it takes fuel to run that plane. It takes oil, it takes fuel and energy, which all of that is going to be disturbed as well. You're going to have trouble in the cities, that's going to bring forth martial law. You got bus rails that need gas, and the gas is being disturbed right now. Okay? Gas prices going up. Look at what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz, by Iran. We can see the destruction. We can see, what the scriptures say, the righteous man foreseeth the evil. We can see the evil before it comes. But the nigga woman just pouncing around like ain't without a care in the world. Like the world she live in is going to just be here forever. You know why? Because cities were created for women. And women think, right now that, this is a feminized world, effeminate world. They think that this world going to be forever. A man shall desire to go into the city. Where we at? 19. 18. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. And man, you see that? The cities are going to be troubled with what? Militaries, no food, famine, militaries. It's going to get real grimy. A man should have no pity. Verse 18. For because of their pride, the cities, right, America, right, is likened unto a city without walls. Shall be trouble. You're going to have the enemy invading. It's going to be a lot of trouble. You already got a lot of, invaders that cross the border. They say destroy their houses with the sword and spoil, so like I skipped, and the houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. So the scriptures include that men will be afraid. Then how much more the women? Because women are naturally afraid. All this hell you done brought upon the Israelite men. Your fear is going to come, and we're going to mock when your fear comes. The Lord is going to mock when your fear comes. Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. And you see the spirit that's out here? Ain't no loyalty, no love, peace, compassion. All that shit is gone. That's only in the ministry. Only men in the ministry possess those traits. Love, compassion, loyalty. We loyal to Yahweh Shem. It's true. The brother have compassion among each other and show real love, man. Which is the keeping of, we keep the law. We got respect when it comes to the laws, man. How we treat each other. The law was given to us to be able to govern the planet Earth and how to act, how to conduct ourselves. And that's going to be implanted in our mind when we get the new bodies. The way we won't be able to go off, man. And that's only going to happen to who? The Israelite man. And spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So all hell going to break loose in Babylon, man. And you women going to be left as large. Shalom.